This is the SMILEY. It's a 3D printed, bolt-action, magazine-fed springer that takes nightingale magazines and fires half darts. Let's talk about it.
Videos like these are made possible thanks to my channel members. If you want to go above and beyond in supporting the channel and get some exclusive behind-the-scenes looks and videos,
Let's talk a little bit about siren blasters.
consider joining the Bert Troopers. And if not, your continued viewership and comments are always greatly appreciated.
What's up, folks? It's Bret, and sometimes I wear a beret, and today we are talking about the SMILEY, a blaster from Mighty Shrub that was sent to me by SilverFoxIndustries to review. They sent me a couple different springs, spacers, and barrels with this blaster to test out, and I had the chance to use this at a local event. If you want a lot more information about the SMILEY and want to print one for yourself, you can check that out on Printables. But in short, this is a Mighty Shrub MrHeathPants collaboration. It is a bolt-action blaster that can be ambidextrous, takes nightingale magazines, and it takes, in general, less hardware than your average 3D printed blaster. Ooh, we have Mighty Shrub at home. Look at me, it's Bushman Bret back at it again. And my friends at SilverFoxIndustries are some of the approved sellers, so if you want to buy one for yourself, the printed parts or the hardware kit can be found at silverfoxindustries.shop. Can't say for certain if they'll be available at the time of this video going live, but if they are not, they're working on it. There you can also find the machined metal bolt handle upgrade if you are interested. I guess I could do the whole review like this, but I'd be taken less seriously than usual, so probably not. So let's take a closer look at the SMILEY then, shall we? What I got for testing my SMILEY were 2 different barrel combinations, 2 different springs, and then some spring spacers. The magazine, of course, is just, in this case, a magazine from a Venom Pro, but it is also compatible with your typical Nightingale magazines. And this worker scar was just something I threw on, but you can put whatever you want on the front. As this is a 3D printed blaster, you can customize these colors however you see fit. Mighty Shrub logo right there. And then on the other side, we've got MrHeathPants, still that smile, and then there is a Silver Fox logo right there up front. And of course it says SMILEY. To operate this blaster, you're of course going to load in your magazine. You'll hear a nice little response, very satisfying. Then you will pull the bolt back. Breech is open, you can see I've got 1 dart loaded. Push it forward, close it, and then fire. And then to remove the magazine, you can either hit the button on this side or on this side. I believe there are different pieces, so you can customize this front where you could have like an extra Picatinny rail on the bottom, but this one included has 2 slots for Picatinny rail up top, which is useful if you want to put a sight, an optic, a second blaster up top too, if you're into that. The stock is also something that you can customize. You can remove it entirely. You can put an N-Strike compatible stock on there, which is really cool. This one I found is really solid, really supportive. It's nice and easy to brace against the shoulder. And then down below right here is where you would access your spring. So on the other side, we have this little piece, orange, which you would just take off, push that pin through, bye-bye. And now I can replace with a lower power spring. Replace the pin, close it up, and now I have a much lighter spring load. You can also easily replace the barrel up front, unscrew this collet once my hands have stopped being sweaty. Pull that out, pull out your barrel, and I'm going to replace it with a shorter length. Back in, screw it tight, and voila. Okay, I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like without the stock too. All right, 3 screws later, 1 stock later. And now we have a significantly smaller blaster than before, though without any replacement piece. The spring is kind of entirely exposed and it's a little louder when you fire this and there's nothing back there. You probably wouldn't want that completely exposed when using the blaster in case something were to get in there and cause problems, so probably use a replacement piece if this is the configuration that you would like. But I do really like how small this is. Now the magazine, I guess you could also just prime back in single loaded dart if you're really into 1 in the chamber. You could also really creatively load a full length. I don't know why I just did that, but of course it'll fire. Does it Mega XL? I mean, of course it'll Mega XL. Why not? Why would it not? Everything can Mega XL. Now, I've done a lot of plinking around with a Smiley just to see how the different spring and barrel combos will affect the performance. Admittedly, I haven't gone into all the combinations of the spring spacers, but it is really cool that that option is available. And I still really love just how quick it is to swap the springs on this thing. I love that that has been a focal point of a lot of designers. Making the performance of a blaster adjustable on the fly means that there's a higher likeliness that you can bring one blaster to an event that has multiple caps, or if you just need to downtune it for whatever reason, you can do that. It means that you have to invest less into many blasters if you like just one particular platform. To put it simply, the Smiley can be a little picky on darts, especially in that lower combo that I had, the shorter barrel and the 788 spring. Because that blaster will typically fire well under 150 FPS with non-bambooed darts, the, let's see, worker darts and like Nerf Pro darts as well, the real like thick foam that existed out there, those darts, sometimes would jam in this blaster, and I would remove the magazine and maybe fire it a couple more times and it would clear the jam. So not like catastrophic jam or folded dart in the barrel jam, just the foam was a little thick and it needed a couple extra pushes to get out the barrel. With the higher spring and longer barrel combo, that's usually not a huge issue, and I can bump up those numbers closer to 200 FPS, maybe 170 to 200. But the lower spring and barrel combo I found to be just more fun because of how quick you could fire it. So I'm a little bit unsure what my real preference on like configuration is for this blaster. When it came to using this in a game, I did have the lower combination, and overall I did have a lot of fun using this in a game. I think I used the Dart Zone B car for the most part. So as always, with the right darts, the accuracy was fine, and with the wrong darts, the accuracy was not great. I did have quite a few, not jams again, just misfeeds where I could see, oh, that didn't actually go into the barrel properly, take the dart out. And so that was on the other end where the dart was really squished and worn because at a certain point in the day, I was just picking up darts off the ground and trying to field them again. There seemed to be a happy middle point with, of course, the bamboo style darts. As this blaster is designed to take nightingale style mags, it also seems like they are ideal with nightingale style darts. Or should I say, I'm holding a Dart Zone Venom Pro magazine, therefore Nitro Shot plus darts or other bamboo-esque darts. And with the higher barrel and spring combination, those darts were clearing 200 FPS, but again, they are lighter than your average worker darts and definitely worker heavies. So all that to say, when you did get the right combination of darts for this blaster, it was a lot of fun to use. While a bolt action is kind of known to be a lot slower, the Smiley was just intuitive and friendly to use. I can certainly see how the Smiley will put a smile on your face. What if I just did the whole review like this? Huh? How would you feel about that? Not too good, huh? This stock is great. I actually really like it. Maybe I'll take it off for a future event just to see how that works. It will leave that giant hole in there, but I've had worse.
What do you mean by that?
But definitely when it comes to higher springs, it is nice to have something to brace against your shoulder. For some things that I'm not thrilled about with this blaster, I kind of already mentioned that dart pickiness is not ideal. I noticed this earlier and now I can't unsee it. It does seem like the shell on the unit that I received is flush with these two pieces up here, but then at the bottom there's a slight gap. I am very happy with the print quality. SilverFoxIndustries always does a great job with their prints. If my blaster does look a little bit scuffed up, that's because it was lying on grass and I've taken it to an event, and that's what happens when I tell them that this is my color combination. Something I am still getting used to with this blaster is the reloading. Now, I don't think that it's a bad reload, I'm just not as used to this one, and I found that during my gameplay I would fidget a little bit more with the reloads. Response you get when you do put a magazine in is great. I do like that a lot. Sometimes I go from like rocking it in like so, and other times I try to feed it straight. And I know it looks like I'm doing an okay job right here, but I've definitely seen a difference in my reload speeds with this compared to something like, oh, I don't know, my worker Harrier. Just something where it's a little bit more easy to reload that magazine that isn't slightly off at an angle. Is this a skill issue? Maybe. And when you don't have a magazine in, the mag release doesn't make any noise, but when you do have a magazine in, there's a little bit of rattle that goes back and forth. And you can also push it like all the way through on one side, so now it's like way jutted out versus the other side, which is now awkwardly pushed all the way in. Oh no, what do? Well, you just push it back in on the other side. It feels a little bit weird if you're going quickly and then you do that and you're like, whoa, did I just break something? No. So something I'm still getting used to. There are some screws that are jutting out of the shell, which I don't love, and for the most part, they don't cause like any problems. They're just like a cosmetic feature that I'm not liking as a feature. Like these ones are just, you know, kind of jutting out the side. It just doesn't look as clean as I feel like it could. These are mostly just nitpicks, but I'm just saying, when you rub your finger across them, you're like, ew, screw head, I don't like that, go away. And then like the stock, like these ones are really jutting out. I'm like, yeah, could those be maybe like sunk a little bit further in? But then in some cases, you know, screws hidden, nice and recessed, but why are the other ones jutting out? And like this one in the bottom of the handle definitely looks like it is fighting for space with the 3D printed plastic. Again, they don't actually get in the way of your hand, just for, you know, looks, cosmetics. And I do have to admit that when it comes to the SMILEY, I am always just a little bit worried about the bolt. I mean, that is the whole fun of this blaster. That's the reason that it basically exists. And it is in fact like fully 3D printed with 100% infill, I believe. That's basically like the requirement for the bolt, so that you don't actually break it off. With the 788 spring, I haven't had any concerns, but with the higher spring loads, I definitely have some concerns. So I definitely go a little bit slower when it comes to priming this thing. And I know there's some methods where people say, oh, put your thumb on the back and then you pull the bolt. I still have some concerns that this thing is going to break. And so if I did have a choice, I would probably get that metal replacement instead, because I know if anything is going to break on this blaster first, it's going to be that. And while I haven't experienced this myself, I do also go a little bit slower because I'm worried that sometimes when I go to finish my priming and put the bolt back in its resting position, do you see me trying to squish my finger there? I keep worrying that I'm going to squish my finger because there is enough room where you could get your finger stuck in there. Hello. If my finger is just wrapped all the way around the bolt for, say, extra support, that does pose a little bit of a risk. The SMILEY is fun, and it's been cool to see other people doing remixes of this blaster, even to take like straight Talon magazines, even though the main reason that I expressed interest in this blaster was because it's the only other blaster I could think of that would take Nightingale magazines. But you're probably wondering then, well, wait, why this is like a lower quality bolt action blaster compared to the Worker Quinlan? Why not just get something like that? Well, I can definitely see the differences. I never actually got a Quinlan for myself because it's just too much. I don't need that much of a blaster. The SMILEY, of course, is very similar, but also very different. This is a 3D printed blaster, which means you can customize this however you want it to look, make it bigger, make it smaller. You could really make this smaller, way smaller than a Quinlan. So again, that appealed to me as a smaller person, but also it's a really quick spring swap. The Quinlan's not slow spring swap. You can do it. It's just, you know, it's different. The initial cost for a SMILEY is going to be a little less than a Quinlan. Of course, once you break apart because you ran it too hard and you need to replace it, well then maybe it'll go up over time, or if you get yourself 5 different barrels and 5 different springs to use this blaster, then yes, maybe it also might be comparable to a Quinlan. But for the creators out there, the people who want to make their next printed blaster, then I can definitely see how the SMILEY would scratch a unique itch that not a whole lot of other blasters are currently doing. It's all about the pump action springers, as you know. It's Nexus Pro or nothing. I can't even say it right. Just buy a Nexus Pro. So those are my thoughts on the SMILEY by Mighty Shrub. But let me know what you think about this blaster in the comment section down below. If you already have one, I know these have been out for a little bit of time and people are already playing with them and showing how fast they can fire. I see you, and I'm not going to try and beat your high score. And thank you so much to SilverFoxIndustries again for sending me this blaster. Feel free to check out their website for when they will be selling these, and choose this exact color combination if you want to cosplay your favorite Bushman, Bert Bush, Bush dude, Bush SMILEY man, the Nerf sniper. All right, bye.